MLB's virtual network brings you a Grapefruit League Major League Baseball game here in spring training. And a couple of National League East rivals as well. It's the New York Mets playing the Miami Marlins. This is day 3 of spring baseball here on MLB's virtual network. That's Pablo Lopez out there for the Miami Marlins. He's the starting pitcher of this team, and he's one of many young players on the Marlins this season. The Marlins went through a couple rebuilding phases over the last few years, and this year all of that has come to fruition with several pickups that we'll talk about as the game goes on. But Brandon Nimmo for the Mets comes into bat. He'll lead off for the New York Mets. And the first pitch of the game is called a strike, and the first pitch right at 4 o'clock.
First pitch, 4 o'clock.
Second pitch. Swung on by Nimmo, hit in the air. Miguel Rojas has it, that's one out. And with that, we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Mets. A lot of returning members of this order from last year. Pete Alonso, a big name. The single-season rookie home run record holder, batting third. Cano, veteran second baseman, batting fourth. Among a few names, but the man stepping into the box now, Jeff McNeil. One of the best contact hitters in all of baseball. Hits a fly ball to the right side of the infield and foul ground. There's Jesus Aguilar. He'll make the catch. And that's out number 2.
That is third.
2 quick outs for Pablo Lopez, and here comes Pete Alonso to the plate. Pablo Lopez made his Major League debut with Miami Marlins back on June the 30th of 2018. He was an international signing from Venezuela. Alonso takes strike 1. There are the umpires in today's game, excuse me. Lopez started a career-high 21 games last season, and he'll look to stay in the rotation with Miami in 2020. 0-2 pitch coming to Alonso. Swing and a miss, 3 pitches, and down goes Pete Alonso. Only 6 pitches thrown by Pablo Lopez in that top half of the first inning. On to the bottom of the first, it's New York 0, Miami coming to bat. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. Rick Porcello on the mound for the New York Mets. Former Detroit Tiger, Boston Red Sox, and signed a deal this offseason with the New York Mets. He's still fighting for a rotation spot with Michael Wacha. The Mets lost Zach Wheeler to the Phillies this offseason due to free agency. But the Mets trying to make up for that by signing some veteran arms, and that's where Porcello and Wacha come in. The Mets also traded for Marcus Stroman last season, made a deal with the Blue Jays, so now Stroman expected to be in the rotation again this 2020 season. Jonathan Villar at the plate, and he's hit by the pitch. Well, thankfully for him, he didn't get hit in the legs, because that's where he makes his money, so to speak. He's a contact hitter and a stolen base threat, but he's got a free pass via hit by pitch to lead off this inning. And now here's Brian Anderson. Anderson has been around as a versatile player on this Miami team, as Villar's back safely at first. But told you Villar's a stolen base threat. And Porcello keeping him honest over there at first. Runner goes. Swing and a miss, thrown out to second. It's not in time. Ramos cannot throw out Villar, and that's a stolen base. He's a pretty quick guy, Villar is. Got a good jump after being almost picked off a couple times. Anderson grounds it. Diving stop by J.D. Davis. Throw to first is not nearly in time, and Brian Anderson reaches on an infield single. Anderson playing third base in this game today. Now here's the number 3 hitter, Corey Dickerson. Dickerson has played for the Colorado Rockies, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Philadelphia Phillies. And his first time around free agency, he's decided to sign with the Marlins. And he just one of many very aggressive moves made by the Marlins this offseason. The Marlins signed Dickerson, signed Matt Joyce to a contract that misses outside. Also signed Francisco Cervelli, a veteran catcher. Claimed Jesus Aguilar off waivers from the Tampa Bay Rays. Traded the Baltimore Orioles for Jonathan Villar. Grounded to first. Alonso to short, back to the pitcher Porcello covering, and that's a double play. And with that double play, starting lineup for the Marlins looked like this. Jorge Alfaro still starting at catcher. He was involved in the trade when the Phillies gave Alfaro to the Marlins for JT Realmuto. Of course, some other prospects were thrown in by the Phillies. And now with 2 outs, here's Jesus Aguilar. So Villar got hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. Brian Anderson reached on an infield single, and then Corey Dickerson grounded into a double play conducted by Pete Alonso, Ahmed Rosario, and Rick Porcello. And now Aguilar down in the count 0-2. That double play still advanced Villar to third, and that's where he is now, 0-2 coming. That misses inside. Both starting pitchers have worked efficiently. Lopez only threw 6 pitches in that top of the first inning. And Porcello now at 12. Still not out of the inning yet, but with 2 outs, he's at a good pitch count. 2-2 coming. Got him swinging. First strikeout for Porcello ends the first inning. Miami gets no runs on a hit. 1 runner left on base in that bottom of the first. To the second, no score between New York and Miami. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 4-5-6 due up for the Mets. It's Robinson Cano, J.D. Davis, and Michael Conforto. I need to correct an error I made that bottom of the first inning. Jeff McNeil is playing third base for the Mets. And J.D. Davis is in left field. 0-1 pitch. Strike 2. McNeil came up as a second baseman with the Mets. But since the acquisition of Robinson Cano, McNeil going to be looking to be more of a versatile player. Has played some outfield, left and right field primarily, and now starting at third base tonight. Miguel Rojas makes the play. Robinson Cano grounds out, and here's the defense for the Miami Marlins. See Jonathan Villar out there in center, typically a middle infielder, but he's experimenting in new positions because of Isan Diaz out there at second, a prospect of the Marlins, and Miguel Rojas, the veteran manning shortstop. J.D. Davis adding here.
Nope, that's the ball.
He was traded to the Mets in the 2018-19 offseason. Started his career as a third baseman, but because of the plugged-up infield by the Mets, he will also be asked to be more versatile, and he's playing left field tonight. That's crushed to left. J.D. Davis has homered. That's a center cut ball. That was left over the heart of the plate by Pablo Lopez, and it was crushed. So the Mets lead 1-0 on a solo home run by J.D. Davis. Here's Michael Conforto. Conforto, one of those magical pieces of the Mets' 2015 World Series run. He did not start the 2015 season with the Mets. He was caught up later in the season and performed at the highest level. Has played center field and right field for this team, although he started his career in left. One pitch coming from Lopez. Chase, that's strike two. In his rookie season in 2015, he had a batting average of .270, had 9 home runs, and 26 RBIs in 56 games. Conforto last season been a quality run producer for this Mets team. And he keeps himself alive in the at-bat. Count still 2-2. So Conforto playing right field in today's game. 2-2 pitch. But he has regularly played all outfield positions with the Mets throughout his career. The Mets haven't really had a consistent outfield, and that's also because Yoenis Cespedes has been dealing with injuries as well, as that pitch is hit well to center. VR makes the play. That's the second out of the inning. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up number 7 hitter and catcher for the Mets, Wilson Ramos. Ramos played for the Washington Nationals for the longest time. Debuted in 2010 with the Nats. Was a free agent in the 2016-17 offseason. Decided to sign with the Tampa Bay Rays. Then got traded in 2018 at the deadline from the Rays to the Phillies. Played there until he elected free agency in 2018, and in the 2018-19 offseason signed with the Mets, and this is the second year of his contract. That misses outside. Ramos in his career won a Silver Slugger with the Nationals at the catcher position in 2016, was an AL All-Star in 2018, and also made the All-Star game with the Nationals that 2016 year. He's brought a veteran presence to this Mets team as well. 3-2 pitch. That's outside, and a 2-out walk issued by Pablo Lopez. Ahmed Rosario will have his first plate appearance here in the top of the second with 2 outs. Ramos on first. Ahmed Rosario was an international free agent signing out of the Dominican Republic and debuted with the Mets on August the 1st, 2017. Has been their primary option at shortstop ever since. J.D. Davis hit a home run in this inning after Robinson Cano got out.
3 balls, no strike.
Then Conforto got out and Ramos reached base via the walk. He's the one on first now, and Rosario's got a 3-0 count. And a rough second inning for Pablo Lopez, who only threw 6 pitches in the first inning, has thrown 22 now here in the second. And has distributed strikes and balls evenly. 3-1 count now on Rosario. The pitcher's spot on deck. Porcello will bat if Rosario can reach base. And he fouls that one off. Count run full 3-2. And now the 3-ball, 2-strike, 2-out advantage will come into play. Ramos will be off on the pitch. Rosario takes ball 4. Second walk issued by Pablo Lopez.
Batting ninth, the pitcher, number 22.
And so now the Mets have a slight advantage. Because even if Porcello gets out, the top of the order will get to bat next inning. But here is Rick Porcello. Swings at the first pitch, hits it on the ground is short. Rojas throws to Diaz. That play was close at second. That ends the inning, but J.D. Davis hit that solo home run in the middle of the inning. Mets lead 1-0 going to the bottom of the second. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. Whether you're watching on PlayStation Network or the Twitter page or the YouTube channel of MLB Virtual Network, we welcome you. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and it's the bottom of the second inning. First pitch swinging, Garrett Cooper hits it out to left, and J.D. Davis runs it down. So on one pitch, Cooper's out. And this is a good time to look at the defense for the Mets. A lot of players playing secondary positions. Conforto for one, Nimmo another. Davis another, McNeil another. 4 players playing secondary positions. Conforto a primary left fielder, so is Nimmo. J.D. Davis typically a third baseman, and McNeil a second baseman. They've all been moved around, and the Mets trying to make it work with all the talent they have, just trying to make everybody a little more versatile on the defensive side. Jorge Alfaro is batting now. Already talked about he was the product of the JT Realmuto trade when Realmuto went to the Phillies. Strikes out there against Porcello. That's Porcello's second strikeout.
The second baseman, Esau.
2 outs. Bottom of the second. This is a Grapefruit League game between the Mets and the Marlins, and also a bit more interesting because these two teams are both a part of the National League East. Isan Diaz batting now. 2 outs, base is empty for him. Came up late in the season with the Marlins. In 49 games played, he batted .173 with 5 home runs and 23 RBIs. 2-0 pitch, softly to left center. That's going to fall in front of J.D. Davis. And Isan Diaz is aboard with a 2-out single, keeping the inning alive. Hit it well enough to where nobody was able to get it, and as Yogi Berra said, hit it where they ain't. That's what Isan Diaz did there. Here's Miguel Rojas, one of the veterans on this Miami Marlins team. Made his debut with the Los Angeles Dodgers back in June of 2014. And in 2015, he was traded along with D. Gordon to the Marlins. That pitch is hitting right for a base hit. Miguel Rojas is aboard, keeping the inning alive as well. But listen to this deal Miguel Rojas was involved in. So the Los Angeles Dodgers traded D. Gordon, Dan Herron, Miguel Rojas, and cash to the Marlins for Andrew Heaney, Chris Hatcher, Kike Hernandez, and Austin Barnes. Swing and a miss by Pablo Lopez. There are some big names in that trade. Of course, Barnes and Hernandez were huge parts of that 2017 and 2018 World Series runs that the Dodgers had. And the Marlins got the talents of D. Gordon, Dan Herron, and Miguel Rojas. And Rojas has been here ever since the 2015 season. 1-1, that, wow. Lopez flailed at that pitch. Isan Diaz reached on a single. He's now on second, and Miguel Rojas also singled. He's aboard at first, and Lopez down on strikes rather quickly, and that ends the inning. No runs on 2 hits for the Marlins. 2 runners left on. So it's 1-0 Mets going to the top of the third. Brandon Nimmo will lead off. Nimmo 0 for 1. Facing Pablo Lopez now for the second time. Just misses outside. That's ball one. The Mets' lone run so far came on a J.D. Davis solo home run back in the second inning. Marlins had 2 runners on base last half inning, but could not get them home. 2 ball, 1 strike count now on Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo batted .221 last season with 8 home runs and 29 RBIs in 69 games. Was dealing with some injuries. His single season high for games played is 140, and he did that back in 2018. Hasn't played a season so far, though, that he's participated in over 69 games. Strikes out there to Pablo Lopez. That's 2 strikeouts for Lopez. 1 out, top of the third. And with 1 out comes Jeff McNeil. McNeil playing third base in this game, although he's naturally a second baseman. Also a consistent outfielder for this Mets team. Batted .318 last year with 23 home runs and 75 RBIs. Here's the 0-1. Called a strike, count 0-2. He came up as a second baseman with the team in 2018, and then in the 18-19 offseason. The R can't make the play. That's a single for Jeff McNeil with 1 out. Here at the top of the third. Good effort by VR. But well squared up by McNeil as well. But McNeil came up, played second base consistently, but in 2018 and 2019, the Mets traded for Robinson Cano, and Cano was man's second base ever since. Now, usually Cano can play first base as well, and then you slide McNeil into that second base position, but this guy is the reason why that's not happening. Pete Alonso had a breakout season last year with the Mets. In his rookie season, he was the National League Rookie of the Year. And mainly because he set the single-season rookie home run record, hit 53 home runs last season. Strikes out there against Pablo Lopez, and that's out number 2. And that breaking ball by Lopez has fooled a few hitters in this game. Conforto was caught looking at it, and Alonso chased it. Now with 2 outs, here's Robinson Cano. Popped into the air. There's Alfaro. He's got it. Lopez pitches a scoreless top of the third. No runs on a hit in the inning. 1 runner left on. Going to the bottom of the third, it's New York 1, Miami 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. Brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Leadoff hitters in the order due up for the Marlins: Jonathan VR, Brian Anderson, and Corey Dickerson. VR does not have an official at-bat today. He was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. And takes ball 2 inside. Don't forget, opening day on Major League Baseball's virtual network starts on Thursday, March the 26th. That stays fair. And VR is going to test Davis. Throw from Davis is late. And it's a leadoff double by Jonathan VR. He got jammed, too. Was late on that pitch. But luck sometimes is a determining factor in this game. Was able to stay fair, and VR with his speed is aboard at second. With a leadoff double, now here's Brian Anderson. Hit an infield single his first time up. But again, opening day starts on Thursday, March the 26th. The 4 teams that are going to participate and be broadcast on our games of the day will be announced tomorrow. 2 games a day, every day on MLB Virtual Network when the regular season begins. But for now, it's just 1 game every day. Spring training. Just to make sure baseball can stay in our lives a little bit. 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. And Porcello now has 4 strikeouts. The latest victim, Brian Anderson.
The left fielder, number 23.
1 out.
Corey Dickerson.
Corey Dickerson will bat. Number 3 hitter 0 for 1. Grounded into a double play his first time up. They are at second in scoring position. And only 1 out. This is a Grapefruit League game between the Marlins and the Mets. Also a National League Eastern Division matchup. These 2 teams will see each other regularly in the regular season. That pitch missed in. Two ball, 1 strike count. Porcello pitching, Dickerson batting. That just misses outside. Now some trouble. Power hitting Jesus Aguilar is on deck. 3-1 count on Dickerson. Strike 2 called at the knees. Count run full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Porcello getting close to 40 pitches. On the ground right side. Played by Alonso at first. Gets an unassisted play. VR moves from second to third on the play, and that's 2 outs.
Now back, first baseman, Jesus Aguilar.
So with 2 outs, here is Jesus Aguilar. He had been around a few major league teams, but really broke out with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2018. It's a power hitting first baseman. In 2018, he batted .274 with 35 home runs and 108 RBIs. Counts even at 1-1. In 2019, wasn't producing too well with the Brewers, so he was traded from the Brewers to the Tampa Bay Rays. And this past offseason, he was claimed off waivers by these Miami Marlins. Didn't really have to go too far when he was still in the same state. 1-2 pitch, that misses outside. But playing for a Marlins team that is still in its final stages of rebuilding, but these pieces have come together this past off season. Cano calling for it, and he's got it. Marlins strand another runner in scoring position. And the inning's over. So no runs on a hit by the Marlins. Only 1 left on. Going to the 4th, it's New York 1, Miami 0.
The left fielder,
You're watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network. Brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. The Mets will bat in the top of the 4th. And we'll send up 5, 6, 7 hitters. It's J.D. Davis, Michael Conforto, and Wilson Ramos. Davis homered back in the 2nd inning, the lone scorer to this point in the game. 1-1 pitch. Fouled away. He was a bit late on that one, and Pablo Lopez is ahead in the count. 1-2. Lopez, although giving up 1 run, still pitching efficiently. 46 pitches through 3+ innings now. That breaking ball has been devastating. Davis disciplined enough to stay off of it. 2-2. Another breaking ball. That one not close to the zone. Count run full. 3-2. Michael Conforto on deck. Swung on and hit well, and not fair, but that cleared the length of the wall in the outfield. Swung on and fouled into the seats. Davis keeping the at-bat alive. Full count, 3-2. Here's the pitch. One more time. Hit to center. Davis 2 for 2. VR will get it in. Leadoff single for J.D. Davis. He's now homered and singled, technically halfway to the cycle. And coming up to bat now is Michael Conforto. .33 home runs and 92 RBIs last season with the Mets. Conforto debuted with the Mets on July 24th, 2015. Was a part of the World Series run that the Mets had. Lost to the Kansas City Royals that year. A couple of magical teams, though. The Mets had to get past the Dodgers and the Cubs. The Cubs in 2015 were on a rampage, beating the Pirates in the wild card game and then winning the division series against the best team in baseball, the Cardinals. And the Mets were able to beat them, make it to the World Series, but the Royals were still looking for vengeance from losing the World Series in 7 games by 1 run in that Game 7 against the Giants. That was a legendary World Series. Ball hit well to right center. VR is running back to the track. He's at the wall. That's gone. A home run for Michael Conforto. Second home run given up by Pablo Lopez in this game. And now it's 3-0. The Mets lead the Marlins. J.D. Davis homered in the second. It was a solo home run, gave the Mets a 1-0 lead. And there's Michael Conforto just sneaking it over that right center field wall out of the grasp of Jonathan VR. Mets offense present early in this game. And now here's Wilson Ramos taking ball 1 against Pablo Lopez, who will most likely exceed 60 pitches in this inning. Foul ball, counts even at 1. Swing and a miss, counts 1-2. Wilson Ramos, a former All-Star, a former Silver Slugger at the catcher position. How's that pitch off? Counts still 1-2. This is the third spring training game covered here on MLB's Virtual Network. Regular season begins on Thursday, March the 26th. And the 2 games that will be featured on this network will be announced tomorrow. Around 1 o'clock before the spring training game begins. And then on Tuesday, the entire schedule for the first opening week will be announced. That pitch misses, count run full, 3-2. Grounded to second. There's Isan Diaz, throws to Jesus Aguilar. And mercifully, the Mets get it out here on the top of the 4th. So for the first few games, they'll be announced day to day in the regular season. But once Sunday rolls around, an entire schedule for featured games will be announced. And you'll get a schedule announced on the Twitter page week to week on which teams will be featured on which day, so you can watch and follow your teams. And don't forget, even if your team isn't featured on a game, there will still be stats kept and game results archived, and you can get to see how your team did in both in both games they played in a certain day and how they're doing in the standings. You'll get to see that every night between 8 and 10 o'clock when all the games have finished up. Ahmed Rosario batting now. He's down to the count 1-2. But even if your team isn't getting featured, you can still follow along and cover how they're doing and still enjoy baseball. Rosario on base with a single and out time called. Pablo Lopez in some trouble here, and because it's a spring game, they very well might not stress his arm. He's already given up 3 runs. Gave up a home run to J.D. Davis in the second inning, and gave up a 2-run home run to Michael Conforto this inning. Rick Porcello credited with a sacrifice bunt that moves Rosario to second base. So Rosario in scoring position as the top of the order resurfaces. It's Brandon Nimmo. He'll bat with 2 outs. And some more padding to that lead, potentially standing there at second base. Lopez has been taxed these last few innings, over 20 pitches in the 3rd inning. Now 26 here in the 4th. Here's the 1-0. Inside, that's ball 2. Right-handed pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Marlins. Porcello's been in some jams too. There's Eliezer Hernandez warming up in the Marlins pen, the only one warming up. Rick Porcello's been in some jams as well, but has yet to relinquish any runs to the Marlins. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That can't find the zone either. Good hitters count for Brandon Nimmo. Jeff McNeil's on deck. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Count run full 3-2. So the offense in this inning for the Mets, J.D. Davis singled, Michael Conforto hit a 2-run home run. Ahmed Rosario on second after a single, and now a fly ball by Brandon Nimmo. Hit well to the outfield. That ball's going to get over the wall, off the ground. And that'll be an automatic double for Brandon Nimmo, hitting it to one of the deepest parts of this ballpark. Wedged right in the corner there. Rosario is awarded home from second base. So those two essentially switch places. Now Brandon Nimmo's on second. Still 2 outs. There's Jeff McNeil. It's strike 1 called on him. He singled last inning. Mets scored 1 run in the second, now 3 runs here in the 4th. Ripped well to left, that's going to fall. It'll be played in the outfield. Nimmo will score from second. RBI single for Jeff McNeil extends the Mets lead. It's now 5-0. Top of the 4th, still 2 outs. McNeil just hit that one well. Stayed inside that left field line. And also out of the reach of Dickerson there in left. Now here's Pete Alonso, takes strike 1. Lopez now at 77 pitches. And this 4th inning has technically gone 3 2/3 innings. And has yet to get out of this one. Strike 2 called. Alonso 0 for 2 in this one. Here's the 0-2.
The count is 1-2.
So J.D. Davis led off this inning with a single. Or started the offense for the Mets in this inning with a single. Robinson Cano led off this inning. Mets close to batting around. They won't bat around this inning, but 9 batters come to the plate for the Mets. 4 of them score. And going to the bottom of the 4th inning, it's New York 5, Miami 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Whether you're watching through the Twitter page, MLB Virtual Network, at Virtual MLB, whether you're watching on MLB Virtual Network's YouTube channel, or whether you're watching through PlayStation Network, welcome. I hope you're enjoying baseball while baseball has been indefinitely suspended. This is your place to go to feel the nostalgia of Major League Baseball while it's not with us right now. I know how many lives are being impacted by the COVID-19 virus, but hope you can still enjoy baseball through this channel, through this page, and through PlayStation.
Now batting, catcher.
That was that was Garrett Cooper. Hit that one into center field. Garrett Cooper went along with Starlin Castro and a couple other Yankee prospects to the Marlins for Giancarlo Stanton. Has made a name for himself with the Marlins. However, still a pretty good hitter and was solely a first baseman with the Yankees. Now plays the outfield as well, starting in this game in right field. Jorge Alfaro hits that one out to center. Nimmo makes the catch. And he'll get it in without Cooper going anywhere other than back to first. So Alfaro flies out, 1 out in the inning, and here's Isan Diaz. Diaz, his first major league hit with the Marlins was a home run off of reigning Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom. And his family was there watching, and they were on television when he hit that home run, and it was quite exciting to have your first major league hit be a home run off of one of the best pitchers in the modern era. Grounded right side, caught by Pete Alonso, and tagged out is Garrett Cooper trying to retreat back to first. An unfortunate series of events that cost the Miami Marlins the bottom of the 4th. No runs on a hit, and no runners left on. Going to the 5th, it's New York 5, and Miami 0. Eliezer Hernandez. In 21 games, had an ERA of 5.03. Ignore those guys on the screen. Those guys are not announcing this game. I'm Nicholas Callis, although Matt Vasgersian, one of my favorite baseball announcers, just has a colorful vocabulary, very energetic, sometimes too energetic, but a very good baseball announcer. But I digress. Here's Robinson Cano. So Pablo Lopez goes 4 innings, gives up 5 runs, all of them earned. Not a quality start. 0-2 pitch coming. That's high, 92 miles an hour. It's now 1-2. The Mets got a couple home runs, one by J.D. Davis. It was a solo home run hit in the second. Michael Conforto had a 2-run home run in the 4th. And that started a rally that ended in the Mets scoring 4 runs in that 4th inning. Brandon Nimmo had an RBI, and so did Jeff McNeil in that top of the 4th inning. Marlins couldn't respond. They're still down 5 runs and haven't scored yet, as Cano fouls that one off. This is Grapefruit League spring training Major League Baseball. But these two will be seeing each other consistently when the regular season begins. These two both in the National League East. Grounded to first. Jesus Aguilar makes the play.
Now batting.
And there's Pablo Lopez's official scoreline. Gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits through 80 pitches in 4 innings. Marlins have some more action. Sterling Sharp in the bullpen. Hernandez still on the mound, though, is pitching in his first inning. And J.D. Davis stands in 2 for 2. J.D. Davis scored on his own home run he hit back in the second. And then tallied another run after he singled and then scored on the Michael Conforto home run. And that was the last inning. The Mets sent 9 batters to the plate in the top of the 4th. Hitters count now for Davis. Chop, but foul. And now Hernandez on the board in this at bat. It's 2-1. 2-1 pitch. That's hit well to left. And Davis knew it all the way. That's a home run. 113 miles per hour off the bat. And that's some scary statistics there for you. That's a 436-foot blast. J.D. Davis has 2 home runs in this game. Both solo shots. Mets now lead 6-0. Of course we want to watch that again. Oh, my. Look at that. He had no... Look at him. He had no doubt. And yeah, Hernandez knew it, too. He's... Looks like he's cursing himself out there.
Up next to the bat.
1 out, top of the 5th.
Conforto.
And both those home runs that J.D. Davis hit, they were center cut right over the plate, right over the heart of the plate, and Davis took advantage. That's the type of power potential that he has, displaying it in this game today.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He's 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and a single. Here's Michael Conforto. Had a home run last inning. Made it 3-0 at the time. Of course, the Mets for that in that top of the 4th inning.
That's a ball.
Conforto in a hitter's count now. 3 balls, 1 strike. Number 7 hitter Wilson Ramos on deck.
Ball 4, pitch is down.
And Hernandez can't find the strike zone against Conforto consistently enough, so now Conforto's on first. Sterling Sharp still in the bullpen for Miami. This is Hernandez's first inning out of the bullpen, so he's only tallied a third of an inning. Wilson Ramos 0 for 1. He walked in his last at bat. Take strike 1 there. So J.D. Davis homered this inning. Only run scored to this point. Michael Conforto just walked. Cano, who led off this inning, was the only one to record an out. Oh-2 pitch. Popped up. Miguel Rojas makes the catch. And that's the second out
The bat.
of this top of the 5th inning.
Shortstop. Ahmed Rosario.
Two outs, Ahmed Rosario. Walked and singled in this game. Ripped that one foul, strike 1. A 1 pitch coming from Hernandez. Finds the top of the zone, that's strike 2. With the Mets last season, Ahmed Rosario batted .287 with 15 home runs and 72 RBIs in 157 games played.
Ball, that pitch is out.
Debuted in 2017, and 157 games is the most amount of games that he's played in his career. Expected to stay that consistent.
Yep, that ball went out.
Shortstop is his position to lose with the Mets. And he's been progressively getting better in each of his last 3 seasons with the team. 2-2 pitch, that misses high. Count run full 3-2. Michael Conforto's on first. And he's expected to run with a 3-2 count and 2 outs in the inning. 3-2, chased, tapped, and touched. That's foul. Three-two will be thrown one more time. Swing and a miss. Hernandez gets out of the inning, but not before J.D. Davis clubs his second home run of this game. Mets lead by 6 going to the bottom of the 5th. Miguel Rojas will lead off for the Marlins, facing Rick Porcello again. Porcello pitching strongly. 51 pitches through 4 innings. He's now at 52. And that's hit well, but foul. Count is even at 1. Miguel Rojas, former Los Angeles Dodger, has played with the Marlins in his last 5 seasons. Rounds it up the middle. There's Rosario. Throws to Alonso, and Rojas out at first. 1 out.
Now batting, the pitcher.
See that ball to strike ratio. 17 balls, 37 strikes. Porcello pitching with efficiency and throwing more pitches than not in the zone. Here's Sean Birdie. Hernandez done after pitching 1 full inning. Gave up 1 run on the home run by J.D. Davis. Back in that top of the 5th inning, Sterling Sharp was in the bullpen for the Mets. Might be the next one to come in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That finds the top of the zone. Porcello's got Birdie down now 0-2. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, and pinch hitter John Bertie is down on strikes. Second out of the inning. And the order is going to recycle for the Marlins. Jonathan Villar will come to the plate. It's hit by a pitch in his first at bat and singled in his second. First pitch grounds it, bobbled by McNeil. He'll try to recover, but he can't. Jonathan Villar reaches first on what is ruled an error. Let's watch it again. There's that initial bobble that really caused this error. Alonso dropped the ball on the other end at first base. And Villar's speed really conducted him getting on base there. So he's officially 1 for 2, but keeps this inning alive at the least. Here's Brian Anderson. First pitch swinging up the middle. Rosario will elect to go to first. And Anderson's out at first. That ends the inning. Marlins get no runs on no hits. 1 error committed by the Mets. And 1 runner left on for the Marlins. Going to the 6th, it's Mets 6, Marlins 0. 9-1-2 due up.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for the Marlins.
So it is Sterling Sharp who's going to come in and pitch for the Marlins. He'll have the bottom of the order leading off. For the Mets, it'll be Porcello, then back to the top for Brandon Nimmo and Jeff McNeil. Porcello 0 for 1 in his last at bat. Executed a sacrifice bunt, which was important because then Brandon Nimmo doubled home Ahmed Rosario. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-2's the count. Pitcher on pitcher. Here's the 0-2. Foul tip into the middle of Alfaro, and Rick Porcello strikes out to lead off the top of the sixth.
Center fielder, number 9, Brandon Nimmo.
So Sterling Sharp was a 664th overall pick by the Washington Nationals in 2016.
Nope. Ball 1.
He has yet to play in a Major League Baseball game during the regular season. And he's been around a number of teams. Been around a few minor league systems, but has found his way now to the Major League roster with the Miami Marlins, and will most likely make his debut with this team in 2020. 1-1 pitch. Lined over the head of Isan Diaz into right center field. Nimmo racing to second. VR will get it right into second base. Nimmo elects to stop at second.
Now batting, number
And let's look at this again in the show motion. Went down, squared that one up nicely. Runner in scoring position at second. Now here's Jeff McNeil. 2 for 3 and has an RBI in this game. Rips that one down the right field line, but that's foul. McNeil hit a single that drove Nimmo home from second in the 4th inning. Oh, 1.
Ball 1.
That doesn't find the zone. Counts even at 1-1. Sterling Sharp facing the batter, Jeff McNeil. That pitch misses outside. Counts 2-1. So the Mets broke out scoring in the second when J.D. Davis hit a solo home run. That made it 1-0. Then the 4th inning, 9 batters came to the plate and 4 runs scored. Michael Conforto hit a 2-run home run. Brandon Nimmo had an RBI double, and then Jeff McNeil had an RBI single. 3-1 hit in the air left field. Dickerson running, and Dickerson makes the catch. Nimmo not tagging, will go back to second. 2 outs, top of the 6th.
the first baseman.
And then last inning, J.D. Davis hit another solo home run. That made it 6-0. The Mets, have now scored in 2 consecutive innings. Marlins have yet to score. That pitch misses inside. That's ball 1. And the first 2 spring games covered so far here on the Major League Baseball Sports Network. The Major League Baseball Virtual Network, but that's grounded up the middle. I'll tell you next inning. There's Isan Diaz. Throws to Jesus Aguilar. Pete Alonso's out at first. And that ends the top of the 6th. So no run scored by the Mets. 1 runner left on. Going to the bottom of the 6th. It's New York 6, Miami 0. This is Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.
Leading off for the Marlins.
I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. The Marlins have 3, 4, 5 hitters due up. Corey Dickerson, Jesus Aguilar, and Garrett Cooper. Rick Porcello is still on the mound, pitching into the 6th inning. And his pitch count is rather low for how long he's pitched. Diving stop by Ahmed Rosario. Throws to Alonso. Corey Dickerson out at first.
The first baseman, Jesus Aguilar.
Outstanding play by Ahmed Rosario. Dives to stop that one and then is able to make a throw from the ground. 1 out. Here's Jesus Aguilar. 0 for 2 against Porcello. Takes ball 1. But in both games, both spring games covered so far here on Major League Baseball's Virtual Network, they've all been shutouts. The Pirates got shut out by the Yankees back on Friday, and the Angels got shut out by the Dodgers yesterday. 1-1 pitch. Ripped but foul down the left field line. Counts 1-2. As a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, both the Yankees and the Dodgers were the visiting teams in those games as well. Pop towards center. Tough play, but made by Brandon Nimmo. Runs it down in shallow right center field, and that's the second out of the inning.
Garrett Cooper.
Garrett Cooper will stand in as the number 5 hitter for Miami. The single in his last at bat. The Marlins still working on their third at bats, while some of the Mets will be on their fourth next inning. 1 ball, no strike pitch coming from Porcello. That misses low. Counts 2-0 on Garrett Cooper. To a rip that hit down the line, but foul. Garrett Cooper last season with the Marlins, .281 average with 15 home runs and 50 RBIs. Swing over the head of Pete Alonso, and that's going to get into the corner. Conforto going to run it down. Cooper on his way to second. To throw directly into second is offline. And Cooper's in there at second with a 2-out double for the Marlins.
Now batting, catcher Jorge Alfaro.
Alonso almost made that play, and Conforto with a quality job of getting that in. And look at this. Wow, that was an inside-out swing if I've ever seen one. An inside breaking ball squared up as well as that was and hit down the right field line. That's impressive. Alfaro down in the count now, no balls and a strike. 2 outs, runner in scoring position at second in the form of Garrett Cooper. Marlins down 6 runs. Hit well to the right but foul, and the count is quickly 0-2 on Alfaro, the catcher of this Marlins team. He'll most likely be platooning with Francisco Cervelli, who was signed in the offseason. Alfaro still a young catcher, and Cervelli veteran. So Cervelli looked, the Marlins hoping that Cervelli can teach Alfaro some things and have him become an even better catcher while those two are teammates. He strikes out in that at bat. Porcello throws 6 scoreless innings going to the 7th. It's New York 6 and Miami 0. Well, there's the 7th inning, and despite the large amount of scoring, this game moving along quickly. Sterling Sharp going to pitch in his second inning. Don't know if it'll be a full inning, but pitch the 6th and is on the mound here in the 7th. Throw strike 1 to Robinson Cano. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Mets. It's Robinson Cano, J.D. Davis, and Michael Conforto. Swing and a fly ball hit to left. Cano remains hitless, flies out to Corey Dickerson.
Now batting,
And that's 1 out. J.D. Davis will bat, a dangerous hitter as he comes to the plate. This was his last at bat. Launched a 436-foot home run. And this was also the 6th run the Mets scored. Not to mention, though, he has a single, and he has another home run that he hit, has scored all 3 times he's been on base in today's game. Twice on each of his 2 home runs, and his single in the 4th inning allowed him to score on the Michael Conforto home run. Mets scored 1 in the 2nd, 4 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th.
I got the count 1 and 2.
Lead the Marlins 6-0. 1-2 pitch to him. Here it is. And he's 4 for 4 through the right side. Cooper gets it into Diaz. And now J.D. Davis has a single to match his other one. He's got a pair of homers and a pair of singles. There's Michael Conforto. Conforto homered back in the 4th inning. And rips that one to right field. Back goes Cooper to the corner, and he's going to watch it go over the wall. Deja vu in this game. So let's just review. J.D. Davis hits a home run in the 2nd, and then in the 4th, Davis singles, Conforto homers. In the 5th, J.D. Davis solo home run, and now in the 7th, Davis singles, Conforto homers. 8-0 Mets lead. Let's see if the other events from that 4th inning come into play in this 7th inning. Mets have scored 8 runs. The last 2 have come in this inning. Here's Wilson Ramos batting for the first time against Sterling Sharp. Strike called over the upper middle part of the plate. Counts even at 1. Swinging a foul ball. Don't forget you're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. Brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Covering spring training till opening day, and then 2 games will be covered every day at the start of the regular season, so you can follow your favorite teams and not be sad because real baseball isn't around right now. You'll have something to follow, something to root for. Follow your favorite teams every night during our scoring recaps. And 2 games will be featured every day. That's 4 teams being covered every day. And they will be different teams throughout the week. Popped up, cut by Diaz. And that's the 2nd out. But that's the whole point of this virtual network, is to give you baseball that you don't have right now. Ahmed Rosario, 1 for 2. Singled and scored on a Brandon Nimmo double. That was back in the 4th inning. Sharply grounded to Diaz. Over there at second, we'll throw to Aguilar. Rosario's out, and that ends the inning, but Michael Conforto blasts his 2nd home run of the game as we move to stretch time here in the Grapefruit League. 8-0 Mets. Oh, moving to the bottom of the 7th, here's Isan Diaz. 1 for 2. He singled in his first at bat. Has been quiet ever since, although Miami hasn't sent too many batters to the plate in this game. Porcello's been throwing very well and has shut out the Marlins through 6. And misses with the first pitch to Diaz. That's ball 1. Diaz looking to solidify second base. He's still got Jonathan Villar to compete with, although the Marlins attempting to move Villar from a middle infield position to center field, and that's where he's playing in the spring training game today. That pitch fouled off. But the Marlins want to keep the veteran Rojas at shortstop, and they want Diaz to be able to develop at second base, so they'll experiment with the other veteran new to the team out in center field, and we'll see how that works out. But the Marlins have put a lot of pieces to their very bizarre puzzle finally together. Worked a couple years off of just throwing prospects out into the major leagues, but they've pressed the buttons on several moves to gain some veterans and to help their prospects develop under good leadership. Flied into right, that's Michael Conforto making the catch. 1 out by Isan Diaz starts this bottom of the 7th. Porcello at 80 pitches now through 6 1/3 innings. Here's Miguel Rojas. His lone hit was also a single back in the 2nd inning. And takes ball 1, just misses. It's 1-0. talked about several of the veteran signings by the Marlins as Rojas hits that to center. That's Brandon Nimmo making the catch. And it's 2 outs.
The pitcher, number 50.
But the Marlins this past offseason signed a veteran catcher in Francisco Cervelli. Claimed Jesus Aguilar off waivers, traded with the Orioles
Number 7.
for Jonathan Villar. Signed this man here, Matt Joyce. And also signed Corey Dickerson, who is the starting left fielder. First pitch, Joyce misses outside. Joyce, former Tampa Bay Ray, also played for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Oakland Athletics, and the Atlanta Braves that made it to playoffs last season. Fouls that pitch off, counts 1-1. With the Braves last season, he batted .295 with 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. In the 129 games he's played in, that ripped to right, and that had enough distance, but goes foul. Porcello has not exceeded 20 pitches in a single inning in his outing tonight. Swings and hits that on the ground at third. There's McNeil. Throws to Alonso, but the throw's off the bag, and Alonso can't recover. That's the second error by Jeff McNeil in this game. First one was a bobble on the grounder hit to him. This time, it's a blatant throwing error. And that extends the inning. Top of the order coming up for the Marlins. So Porcello not responsible for that run at first. If you reconstruct the inning to calculate for earned runs, if that play's made, the inning's over and that run can't score regardless. So Porcello in a good position to not give up any earned runs, and he won't give up any runs at all as Jeff McNeil makes that play. Jonathan Villar pops out, and that ends the inning. So the Marlins get a runner on after the error, but have not scored through 7 innings. We'll go to the 8th. It's the Mets 8, Marlins 0.
Your attention, please.
You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and that's Adam Conley. Conley will come into pitch for the Marlins. He's had several varying roles with his time in the Marlins. Was once a starter on the team, was moved to setup man. Right now he's in a long relief role. He could close if the team needs him to by the end of this season. Rick Porcello will not be pinch hit for. He's scheduled to go out for the bottom of the 8th, considering that he's not being pinch hit for in his at-bat here in the top of the 8th. Grounds it sharply to third. Anderson throws to Aguilar, and Porcello's out on 2 pitches. That's the first out of the inning.
Now back, the center fielder, Brandon.
So that's the starter comparison. Again, Porcello is not done yet, but that's Pablo Lopez's final scoreline. Not quality. 5 runs on 7 hits through 4 innings pitching. And while some of the Marlins haven't quite gotten through 3 at-bats yet, Brandon Nimmo stepping up for his 5th at-bat here against the Marlins, facing Adam Conley for the first time, and double barrel action for the Marlins. Stephen Tarpley and Drew Steckenrider. Steckenrider was the former closer of the team. That's one of the aspects that the Marlins didn't pay quite as much attention to in free agency, was pitching. Signed a lot of position players and a lot of offensive assets, but
The batter, number 6.
no real splashes in the pitching department. Adam Conley strikes out Brandon Nimmo. So Porcello grounds out. Nimmo strikes out. And with 2 outs, here comes Jeff McNeil. McNeil 2 for 4, has an RBI in this game as well. And swings at that first pitch, fouls it off. So the Mets scored 1 run in the 2nd, 4 runs in the 4th, 1 run in the 5th, and 2 runs in the 7th.
Nope, that's a ball.
The height of the offense was by J.D. Davis and Michael Conforto. J.D. Davis hit 2 solo home runs, and Michael Conforto hit 2 two-run home runs. And that's made it 8-0. Not just by them. Jeff McNeil, another one with an RBI. Brandon Nimmo has an RBI in this game as well. That's a fair bullet on the first base line. Aguilar stops it, and he'll step on the bag himself, beats McNeil to first. And that ends the inning. So the Marlins give up no runs on no hits, no runners left on base for New York. Going to the bottom of the 8th, it's New York 8, Miami 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, Brad Broch, and Justin Wilson in the bullpen for New York, as Rick Porcello starts the 8th inning at 87 pitches. First pitch, strike to Brian Anderson. 2-3-4 hitters due up for the Mets. For the Marlins. It's Brian Anderson, Corey Dickerson, and Jesus Aguilar. But whether you're watching this through Twitter, on YouTube, or through PlayStation Network, this is MLB Virtual Network. I'm Nicholas Callis, bringing you baseball when you feel like there's none. Well, there actually is. There's a league that you can watch that's virtual, that you can cover all your favorite teams in and still feel the competition of baseball in your world that you're living in right now. Brian Anderson chases that pitch. He's down on strikes. Rick Porcello now at 7 strikeouts. And that's 1 out. With Anderson and Broch warming up, it's hard to believe that Porcello is going to throw a complete game. But that's still yet to be seen. At 91 pitches, usually in a spring game, you don't want a pitcher to go over 100. Or at least, don't want him to pitch into 100. Too far, as that's a line out. Caught by J.D. Davis and left off the bat of Corey Dickerson. That's 2 outs. If Porcello doesn't exceed 100, they might let him go the full extent of his outing. This will probably be his last start in spring training. Opening day's less than a week away. On opening day, the Marlins will be playing the New York. They'll be playing. No. I'm sorry, I was looking at the spring training schedule at first. The Marlins will open up the year against National League East rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies.
The count is 1-2.
And the New York Mets will open up against NL East rivals, the Washington Nationals. Aguilar hits that one into left. J.D. Davis makes the catch. Rick Porcello has thrown 8 scoreless innings. And the Mets lead the Marlins by 8 going to the last inning of regulation. Mets 8, Marlins 0. Part of the order due up for the Mets starting this 9th inning. It'll be Pete Alonso, Robinson Cano, and J.D. Davis. Davis, the more dangerous of all those hitters. He's on a pattern right now. He's hit a home run, he's singled, he's hit a home run, and he's singled in his 4 at-bats today. Pete Alonso, as dangerous as he is 0 for 4 out of the 3-hole in this game. That pitch misses low. Adam Conley working his 2nd inning. Pitch to scoreless top of the 8th. And all he can do now is keep this out-of-hand deficit where it is. That would give the Marlins the best chance coming back in the bottom of the 9th. Is just keeping the score right where it is. Of course, the best part of the offense is due up right now for the Mets. Although it's really been J.D. Davis and Michael Conforto, each of which have homered twice in this game, and they've batted back-to-back tonight. Pete Alonso down on strikes again. Adam Conley, the most recent now to strike him out. And that's the first out of the inning. Alonso now 0 for 5 in the game. Here's Robinson Cano. Certainly has his strength against right-handed pitching, but will go ahead and bat against the left-handed pitcher Adam Conley, 97. This is off the outside. That's ball 1. Cano, former New York Yankee, made his debut with the Yankees in 2005. Signed a deal in the 2013-14 offseason with the Seattle Mariners. Played second base with them from 2014 to 2018. Was caught using illegal PEDs in 2018. Was suspended 80 games. And then in the 2018-19 offseason, he was traded from the Mariners with Edwin Diaz to the Mets for some prospects. And this will be his second year with the New York Mets. Grounded to short. Rojas throws to Aguilar, and that's 2 outs. Robinson Cano, the second out of the top of the 9th inning.
Now batting, the left fielder, J.D. Davis.
And with 2 outs, here comes arguably the most dangerous hitter tonight, J.D. Davis. Hit a solo home run in the 2nd inning, hit a single in the 4th inning, and scored on Michael Conforto home run. Hit a home run in the 5th, and then singled and scored on a Michael Conforto home run in the 7th. 1-0 pitch. Caught a strike count even at 1. The crooked number that's put up is those 4 runs that were scored in the 4th inning by the Mets. The Mets sent 9 batters to the plate in the 4th inning, 4 of which scored. And it's become a lopsided game late in this one. It's 8-0, and Davis sends a fly ball out to left center. Jonathan Villar will run that one down. J.D. Davis now 4 for 5, and the inning is over. New York gets no runs on no hits and leaves no runners on base. Last chance for the Marlins coming up in the bottom of the 9th. So Rick Porcello is still going to go out there and pitch.
The right fielder,
Justin Wilson and Brad Broch.
Cooper.
We're throwing in the bullpen for the Mets, but Porcello's still out on the mound. He's at 96 pitches. It's still a spring training game. Usually don't want to overwork pitchers, starting pitchers especially, too much in spring training, but the Mets have faith in Porcello. Swinging a fly ball by Cooper to left. 1 pitch, 1 out. As J.D. Davis runs that one down.
The catcher, Jorge Alfaro.
You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, covering this Grapefruit League game between 2 National League Eastern Division rivals, Mets and Marlins. Rick Porcello is working on a potential complete game shutout, while his mound opponent Pablo Lopez gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits in 4 innings pitched. Porcello about to throw his 100th pitch of this game here in the 9th. 0-2 to Jorge Alfaro is fouled away, and now Porcello at the century mark. And even though he's throwing a complete game shutout, it's possible he might get taken out since he's reached the century mark after this hitter.
1 ball, 2 strikes, count.
It's just protocol for spring training because these games don't have huge implications, and you don't want to
Nope, inside, ball 2.
risk injuring him or tiring him out, especially since opening day is next week. Two ball, 2 strike count. 1 out. Garrett Cooper flew out to J.D. Davis and left. Alfaro has an even count, 2-2, and flares that one toward right. On the run's Conforto, and he'll get there. Jorge Alfaro flies out to Michael Conforto, and that's 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Here comes Isan Diaz. Isan Diaz standing between the New York Mets and victory. First pitch. Off the outside, that's ball 1, and Porcello, provided nothing miraculous happens, looks like he's going to complete this game. Was the starter for this game, has given up 6 hits through 8 2/3 innings pitched. Grounded to the right side, that'll get through for a base hit. Past Pete Alonso, Conforto will get it into Cano. 2-out single for Isan Diaz. Pulled off that one a bit, but the ball found its way through a hole just past Alonso there at first. That'll bring up number 8 hitter Miguel Rojas. Singled in the second. His lone hit, entering his 4th plate appearance in this one. Isan Diaz on first, he just singled. Pitcher spot due up next for the Marlins should Rojas reach. Strike called. Porcello's velocity has taken a toll. That was an 88-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball. 1-1. Can't find the top of the zone at 90 miles per hour. And Porcello about to throw pitch 110. I can't imagine he'll stay out there too much longer if he continues to struggle. He's not throwing a no-hitter, and this is only a spring training game anyhow. 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball hit wall to right center. That's going to fall in front of Nimmo, base hit. Isan Diaz goes to third. Rojas trying for second. Cano throws to the shortstop Rosario, but Rojas slides around the tag. And close to ending this game, goes for naught. That's Nimmo getting it into Cano. A good relay. Cano put a little too much energy on that throw, and Rosario could not apply the tag fast enough to Rojas. Rojas safe at second with a double that advances Diaz to third, and now manager comes out. And Porcello will not finish this game, although he pitched 8 2/3 innings, gave up 8 hits total. The 2 runners on base are still his responsibility, so the book not officially closed yet on him. But here comes Justin Wilson.
Number 38,
Justin Wilson, former Pittsburgh Pirate, New York Yankee, Detroit Tiger, and Chicago Cub, now pitching for the New York Mets. And look at that, Justin Wilson going to face, I was going to say former teammates, but these two have a history that doesn't involve them being teammates. First pitch misses high and inside. These two were involved in trades for each other. The Pirates sent Justin Wilson to the Yankees, and the Yankees sent Francisco Cervelli to the Pirates in the 2014-15 offseason. 2-ball, no-strike pitch. Here it comes. Swinging a fly ball, center field. There's Nimmo readjusting, makes the catch, and the ball game's over. Rick Porcello pitched 8 2/3 innings. He gave up no runs, and Justin Wilson, not a save situation, but got the final out of this game and secured the Mets shutout as a team. The Mets had a full display of power in this one. Several players could have earned player of the game. It could have been Porcello for his quality start on the mound. It could have been Michael Conforto for hitting a couple 2-run home runs. Could have been J.D. Davis for going 4 for 5 with 2 home runs and 4 runs scored on the day. All 4 times J.D. Davis reached base, he scored. There's that crooked number in the 4th. 9 batters came to the plate in that 4th inning. 4 of them ended up scoring. And the player of the game is J.D. Davis. Again, he had 2 home runs in this game, 2 solo home runs, also singled a couple times, and scored both times that he got those singles on Michael Conforto home runs. J.D. Davis, the offensive conductor for this Mets team, and he earns player of the game. Rick Porcello
Time of the ball.
gets the win, gave up 8 hits,
Three
but did not give up a single earned run. Struck out 7 through 8 and 2/3 innings. Pablo Lopez, his starting mound opponent, only made it through 4 full innings.
Drive home.
Gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits. And he is hit with a loss. You've been watching the Major League Baseball Virtual Network. If you like what you're watching, follow the page on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a like on PlayStation Network, wherever you are right now. But this can be your replacement for baseball. Opening day starts on March 26th. An announcement will be made tomorrow on who gets to be featured on opening day, and there will be 2 games broadcast featured every day that the regular season goes on until Major League Baseball resumes again, whatever that mid-May point comes around. But you can watch this channel not only for the broadcasts of the day, but also every night there will be results given out. There will be results of each game broadcast, as well as standing updates and category leaders, so you won't miss anything from your team. Even if you're not a featured game of the day, you'll still get to see results, you'll still get to see who's doing well, and you'll still get to see where your team stands every week. Each team will be featured at least once every week. It's not about who's the best team or who is performing the best. It's all about it's all about the love of the game, and every team will get featured at least once a week. Anyway, I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'll see you tomorrow for our next spring training game, which will be announced sometime tomorrow morning. But until then, I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.